Welcome to the Champions of Active Women podcast. In this podcast, we will interview individuals who have been successful within athletics and beyond. We hope that these interviews will encourage and inspire girls and women to be active for a lifetime, to reach their goals, and to break new barriers in sport and life. This podcast is brought to you by the Active Women's Health Initiative and the Sports Medicine Research Institute at the University of Kentucky. The mission of the Active Women's Health Initiative is to optimize health and promote physical activity and wellness for girls and women across the lifespan. We hope you enjoy our conversations and join us in understanding women's health today to ensure women's health tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Dee Dugonsky, your host of the Champions of Active Women podcast. With me today is Mikaela Jenkins. Mikaela is a competitive swimmer with the aspirations of making the 2020 Paralympic Swim Team. Mikaela was born with a left proximal femoral focal deficiency and underwent a left Symes amputation at 8.5 months of age. She was fitted with her first prosthesis at 12 months and walked independently at 17 months. Mikaela learned to swim at age 4 and began competitive swimming at 8 years of age. Over the past 2 years, she has had the opportunity to swim in 5 different countries and now holds 1 world record, 4 American records, and 3 Pan American records. In the 2019 at the Para World Swimming Championships, she won gold in the 100-meter butterfly and won silvers in the 4x100 medley and the 4x100 freestyle relays. She's headed to Paralympic Swimming Trials in June of 2020 for a chance to make the 2020 Paralympic Team in Tokyo. So welcome, Mikaela.
Hi.
Thanks so much for joining me today. To get us started, could you talk to us a little bit about your early sport and physical activity experiences?
So I kind of started playing sports just when I was in like 3rd grade. I did soccer for a while. I rode horses. I did like barrel racing for a little bit, not very long. A couple basketball camps, just like, normal kid stuff, just jumping from one sport to another until my best friend at the time, we were living in York, Pennsylvania. And she was like, Mikaela, please come to a swim practice. You'll love it. I love it. It'd be so fun. We could swim together. And I'm like, fine, I'll go if you stop bugging me. So then I went and I was like, okay, I love this. So I quit riding horses the next day and I signed up for swim team. And then it kind of just took off from there.
Yeah. So what did you love so much about swimming?
I love the people, and I like practices sometimes. It's nice to just get out of the house and just swim and like relax or just have a really good set. It feels good. And I like seeing my friends every single day. It's really nice because we're all really, really close. I mean, we're with each other at 4 a.m. and at working and sweating and crying. So we're all really close. And so we develop these bonds and I just love being around them. And, when I'm gone, even if it's just for like a day, I'm like, I miss them. I want to go back to practice.
Yeah. So it's not just the physical part, but also the social community that you've built around swimming too.
Yeah.
So how your friend helped you get into the sport? Are there other people who have been influential in your kind of early sport experiences?
Yeah, definitely. So when I first started down this trek of trying to get on the national team and then trying to get on the Paralympic team, one of my first coaches, Maria Heathcott, she really started me down this road. She's like, I think you can do it. And then I switched club teams, and then my current coach, Aaron Opel, and even Kyle Johnson, who's the associate head coach, they really invested in me, and they have really led me down this path. They held my hand, and they so that was just really nice to have them. They know what they were doing. My coach, Aaron, was a national team member back in his prime. So he has a lot of experience with this too.
Great. And so it's probably great to have, as you're training so hard and working on your goals, it's great to have their support and experience.
Yeah.
So you're currently in 11th grade. And could you talk about any ways that swimming affects your education, either positively or negatively?
It It's hard to balance both. It is doable, but it is hard. Sometimes I come back from practice and it's 6:30 and I'm trying to get history homework done, or I don't understand something with chemistry and I'm working until 9 and then I have to go to bed immediately because I have morning practice. And I definitely do homework when I should have time off, I have to fit in homework there. So it's kind of like this balance, but I like to tell myself that even though I may be doing homework all Saturday when everybody else is off, but then I get to go to swim the next day and hang out with my friends for 3 hours. So it's like a perspective sort of situation.
Yeah, and it comes back then to what you really loved about swimming was part of that community, and you get to be part of that. Very good. So before you were a 1-year-old, you had the amputation that we talked about in the introduction. You got your first prosthesis at 12 months or 1 year of age, and then you were walking pretty much on a normal schedule, which I think is just amazing in and of itself. So could you talk a little bit about how that played a role or impacted your sport choices and experience?
I really think that my mom's a physical therapist, and so she definitely knew what she was doing when she was trying to get me to walk, and keeping me on schedule, I think really helped set me up for having a more normal life. It really started me down a path that I could keep up with other children who aren't amputees and that I could stay with them. So it really set up that mindset. And I never really thought about it in sports until I started swimming, and even then I take off my leg when I swim. So it's not like I've always have to focus on my prosthetic leg, but I really started to notice it more when I got a lot better. So especially with club swimming, I'm like, wow, these girls are super fast, and I have to remind myself that they are fast, but I'm fast too without a leg, So that's when I really started to notice that, which that wasn't until a couple of years ago. But I don't think I think really keeping me on track has helped with not making it such a big deal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that is a great response, and having that early intervention really sets you up for a lifetime of activity, it seems like. So you've spent most of your life involved in the sport of swimming. Besides the community, are there things you love about the sport of swimming besides the people who are surrounding that community?
I really love, obviously competitions are fun, racing. I love practice a lot of times, especially if a really good set. I get out of the water, I'm like, oh yeah, that was good. And so I like, when you have a really good race or even a really good practice and you just feel really good about it, you feel really excited and I just did a great job, and it's a little bit of a confidence booster. So
yeah. Do you feel like that confidence carries into other areas of your life?
Yeah. I think it does. I think it correlates with a little bit of everything. So.
Right. So obviously your dedication to the sport of swimming is evident from the success you've had over the past few years. To name just a few, you now hold a world record and American records, Pan-American records. You're scheduled to compete in the Paralympic Swimming Trials. Those are in Minneapolis in June. So what are your goals for that meet?
So in order to make the team, there is an MTE and an MQS, which they're time standards. So my goal for these next couple meets leading up to trials is to really get under, MET, not MTE. My goal to get under, these cuts, so that I have plenty of time and to really work on improving and doing last minute improvements if I make the games team. But I already know that I have my cuts, and it would set me in a good spot for making the team.
Great. So your ultimate goal is to make that 2020 Paralympic team. What event or what events?
So I'm a 100 butterflyer.
Okay.
And so that's definitely the first one. probably my next best event would be 2 IM.
Okay.
And then I probably after that would be like, the other ones kind of get bunched together. They're all kind of like, I'm okay, mediocre at these, not great. But like 100 breast, 100 free, 100 back, 400 free, just stuff that are not my main events, but they're not quite my off events, if that makes sense.
You'll give them up. Well, once you become an IM or individual medley, for anyone who is not familiar with that term, that means you're doing all 4 strokes. So you don't really have, I'm sure you don't have a bad stroke.
My breaststroke is not good.
Well,
not good,
relatively, right?
I compensate for that. My coach likes to joke that the only reason I have a decent IM is because I have a good fly and I'm a pretty good distance swimmer, so I have a pretty good finish on my IM.
Yeah. So
but the middle strokes don't help me that
much. Well, they must be good enough to get you by at least. Could you talk a little bit about your training leading up to, what does a training schedule look like leading up to trials?
It's definitely, I'm going to bring the intensity up quite a bit.
Okay.
So I will obviously want to be at a peak physical, what would be the word? At peak physical max, like at my max.
Right.
I want to be the fastest I can possibly be for being 17, and by the end of the summer.
Okay.
So I definitely will probably increase the intensity during my swims. We may add a practice or 2. I'm not really sure, but I just basically, the overall is increase the intensity so I can be in peak physical condition.
So what does a typical week look like for you right now, let's say?
Okay, so right now sorry, I'm blanking. I swim 6 out of 7 days.
Okay.
I swim a total of 9 practices. Sorry. So 9 practices in the water that range from an hour to 2 hours and 15 minutes or so. I have 3 days of dry land or weights. So that's the on land training that we do. That ranges from like an hour to an hour and a half. And I also do a private Pilates session once a week to help really, because obviously since I'm an amputee, that side of my body is going to be weaker than my other side, and we want it to be as even as possible. So we are really working on trying to create an even balance to help me get faster.
Great. So are you training with any other amputees or any other Paralympians, or are you training with the local club team exclusively?
I'm training with my local club team. It's a very good team. Several Olympians have been produced through this team, including Lily King and one back in the 90s that I don't remember the name of, but and several national team members. So my head coach, Aaron, definitely knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and it sounds like you have some good company and some good role models to look up to there as well in that community. So what are your long-term swimming goals after Tokyo?
So after Tokyo, it'll be my senior year of high school, but then obviously I'll go to college. And so I definitely have some individual goals with collegiate swimming that I really want to make. I also have some with like club swimming that a couple cuts that I would really love to get before I go to college. But in terms of para swimming, I obviously want to try to make Paris 2024 too. And I definitely have some major like times like in my 100 fly. And for para, it's all long course meters.
Right. Okay.
But I would love to break a minute in my 100 fly before I retire. And that's definitely a really big goal. That's not easy to do by any means. And I think if I could like finish my career by breaking a minute, I think that would be so cool.
Yeah. So what's your best time right now?
106.1.
All right.
Or 106, so like a minute, 6 seconds, 0.1.
Okay.
Yeah, so I definitely have some work, but I'm 16 and I don't plan on retiring anytime soon.
Yeah, and yet I love the ambitious goals, and you set your sights high and then work for it, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. So what has been the best part of your international swimming experiences?
Well, definitely getting to see the places that I go to. I think that's always really fun. I love traveling. Just as if I could and I had unlimited funds, I would definitely be traveling quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't. And so I love that I get to go to these places for free. So, and I get to see, even if it's not a lot, I get to see like the city that we're in, or even just a little bit of that place. And so I'm really grateful to U.S. Paraswimming for definitely paying for that and supporting athletes. And I also love getting to meet people from other countries. Like some of my closest friends live in Great Britain or Australia, and I've met them because of swimming. And I think that's really cool that I can like keep up with them through like social media. And even though there's a time difference, and I just think that's really neat and unique too.
Yeah, a pretty unique and amazing way to see the world and meet some people around the world.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think I shared with you that I came from a swimming background. So I know personally, and I know that that swimming it's hard, right? Like you shared your practice schedule and your training schedule, and it's a tough sport physically and mentally. And so as you think about training to have, as an elite level swimmer, what are the most challenging parts, and how do you get through those challenging parts?
Definitely trying to keep a positive attitude, which is hard for me sometimes, or I just want to be a Debbie Downer. But, obviously you're going to have those weeks and you're going to have those meets that like nothing's going for you. Like your times, you're swimming, you feel like trash. You feel like you're swimming through peanut butter. So, obviously you're going to have those, and you just got to keep a positive attitude, and you just have to like remind yourself of maybe like outside situations that's bringing that in. Maybe you have a lot of schoolwork and you're not getting enough sleep, or your training schedule is super heavy right now and you're not at the condition to be dropping a lot of time. Definitely for me at the beginning of the season, our winter/spring season, I was not doing well in practice, and I was just like, I've lost all ability to swim. And my coach was like, no, you haven't. It's just really intense right now, and that's why you are not swimming as well as you love to do.
So having a positive attitude, and then also have those people around you, like your coaches and your support system, who is making sure you stay on track and keep that positive attitude. Yeah. So what advice do you have for girls and women about being active and playing sports, and really more than just playing sports, but being active over their lifetime?
I just think that if I could like tell them anything, it's just you got to keep your focus on it, and you got to keep. And I know this is kind of cliche, but you got to be determined. And if you put your mind to it and you really work hard to get what you want, then you can do almost anything that you want to. If you want to become an Olympic soccer player and you like work as hard as you can do it.
I love that advice. It's classic, but it's so true. Working hard is what it's all about. So what else would you like to share with our audience today?
I don't know. I don't really have anything that comes to mind. I think I'm good.
Great. Well, we will certainly be watching you and your career, and we hope that you'll share with us when you have some updates, and let us know how trials goes in June. Yeah,
I'm excited and nervous. Every time I see a commercial for like Tokyo 2020, they like have the Olympic symbol and they'll have a Paralympic symbol, and I'm just like, I'm going to vomit. Or every time I see a picture of the pool, I'm like, oh, good, it's lessening your way. I think like yesterday was 260 days to opening ceremony exactly. And I was just
oh my goodness.
I'm like, the timer keeps going down and I'm, hold on.
Yeah, getting closer and closer. Well, I'm sure that your coaches and your teammates and everyone around you will help to prepare you, and that you'll be ready when it's time, right? Well, I really appreciate your time today, and like I said, please do keep in touch, and we'll be following you and hoping to see really great results.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for asking me to do this.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening to the Champions of Active Women podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the Active Women's Health Initiative and was produced by the Faculty Media Depot at the University of Kentucky. If you enjoyed this episode, you can listen and subscribe to all of our episodes wherever you find your podcasts. For up-to-date information about the Active Women's Health Initiative, you can find us on social media at UKAWHI. Thank you for supporting us as we work to promote health and physical activity among girls and women across the lifespan.